Before time began, before the stars lit the sky, before the oceans took shape and the mountains stood tall, there was only the infinite, unbroken power of God. From the darkness, from the void, he spoke, and existence trembled at his command. Light burst forth, cutting through chaos, marking the first day of creation, and from that moment, the universe became a canvas of his glory. Imagine being a witness to that first heartbeat of the world, where every mountain, every river, every creature, and every breath of wind declared the majesty and power of God. In his infinite wisdom, he formed the earth, the seas, and the skies, and he placed life upon it, sculpting each creature with care, each tree with purpose, and each human in his own image, to reflect his character, to act as his steward, and to bring forth goodness and life into all the world. The earth, perfect and unspoiled, was a place of harmony, a place designed to flourish under God's guidance, a world where his light was meant to be mirrored in every human heart. God planted a garden in Eden, a paradise overflowing with abundance and beauty, and he placed the first humans there, Adam and Eve, blessing them with freedom, dignity, and purpose. They were entrusted with a profound responsibility to care for his creation and live in obedience. And yet, with that responsibility came the test of choice. Among the many trees in the garden, one stood out, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, a symbol of life's most profound question. Would they trust the Creator's definition of what is good, or would they seize autonomy and define it for themselves? It was a moment pregnant with consequence, where faith would either shine bright or falter under temptation. And into this perfect world, a cunning serpent entered, speaking lies and twisting truth, whispering promises of power, of knowledge, and of becoming like God themselves. Yet in their hearts, Adam and Eve already bore the image of God, already reflected his majesty, and yet the allure of self-will proved irresistible. In a single, fateful act, they chose to rebel, taking what was not theirs, and in that instant, sin entered the world. Fear, shame, and guilt washed over them. Trust shattered between man and woman, and the intimate communion they had with God was broken. Yet even in the midst of their failure, even as judgment was declared, God's mercy shone. He clothed them, he protected them, and he promised that one day a descendant would come to redeem the brokenness of the world, a wounded victor who would crush the power of evil while bearing the cost of salvation. From that moment onward, the story of humanity unfolded with both tragedy and hope. Adam and Eve had children, and among them were Cain and Abel. Cain, a tiller of the soil, and Abel, a keeper of flocks, both sought to honor God through their offerings, yet only Abel's was accepted, stirring envy and anger within Cain's heart. God, in his infinite patience and love, warned Cain, "Why are you angry? Sin is crouching at your door." But Cain allowed jealousy to consume him, and in a grievous act, he murdered his brother, the first human death ever recorded. The earth, so recently filled with harmony, now bore the shadow of human violence. And yet even in judgment, God's justice was tempered with mercy. He marked Cain to protect him, ensuring that though consequences were real, hope and divine care remained. This story teaches us that our choices have weight, that obedience to God brings life, and rebellion brings destruction. But even when we fail, God is relentless in his pursuit of our hearts, offering guidance, correction, and redemption. The lessons of creation, of Adam and Eve, and of Cain and Abel stretch across time, revealing the patterns of human life and the unchanging truth of God's power. Life is full of choices, each one shaping the world we live in. God's creation was good, his design perfect, and yet he grants humanity freedom. Freedom that carries both blessing and consequence. When we trust in his wisdom, we reflect his image. We bring life, order, and goodness to the world, and we participate in his grand design. When we turn from him, chaos and pain follow. But even in failure, his grace and his promises endure. The Creator's power, his mercy, and his faithfulness are not distant stories from another age. They are living truths that call to us even now, inviting us to step into obedience, to embrace faith, and to walk in the hope and blessings of God. So as we look back to these first chapters of Genesis, let us remember the power of the God who formed the heavens and the earth, the mercy of the God who clothes us even when we fail, and the hope of the God who promises a victorious descendant to redeem all things. Let us take courage and pride in being made in his image, entrusted with his world, and called to walk in faith, bringing light, life, and order where there is darkness, and remembering that God's plan for redemption and blessing has been set in motion from the very beginning. Thank you for listening to this story, and join us as we continue this journey through the Bible, witnessing God's power, his mercy, and the lessons he gives to all who trust in him.